All right, let's just jump right in. When you think about wealth, what comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's either this amazing blessing or, this terrible curse, good or evil. But what if it's neither? Today, we're going to dig into this really powerful idea from the Quran that completely reframes wealth, not as some end goal, but as a seriously potent tool.
So to really get this unique perspective on wealth, we've got to start somewhere else, actually. We need to look at a very modern and maybe kind of uncomfortable question. How do we even measure a person's worth today?
No, seriously, think about it. When you're sizing someone up, or even yourself, what are the metrics you're using? How do we, as a society, decide what makes a person valuable? More and more, it feels like our value comes from things that aren't even us. I mean, you look at someone's profile, right? What do you see? Their estimated net worth, how many followers they have, what fancy university they went to, their job title. We're basically attaching value to all these things associated with a person instead of their actual intrinsic human worth.
And this focus on all these external things, well, it leads to a pretty common reaction, especially if you look at religious traditions. The reaction is to see wealth as just bad. It's this perspective that pushes back and pushes back hard against all this modern materialism.
I mean, you can see why. You've got traditions that seem to flat out condemn this endless chase for more. Take this passage from the book of Isaiah. It warns against joining house to house and field to field until you've basically pushed everyone else out and you're left all alone.
And that idea gets even stronger with passages like this one from Ecclesiastes. It basically says that chasing money for the sake of money is a totally hollow goal. You'll never, ever be satisfied.
And then, bam, you get this statement. It's so powerful, and you find versions of it in both Christianity and in Islamic hadith. It pretty much frames wealth as a rival god. You have to pick one. You can't serve both.
So after hearing all that, right, it's really easy to just land on one simple conclusion. Wealth is a curse. It's a corrupting force, a total distraction from what really matters. End of story.
But this is where things get interesting. The source material we're looking at challenges us to go deeper. It asks, is that really the whole picture? Is just shunning the world and everything in it the only way to be spiritual?
Or is it? And right here, this is the big pivot. The source material argues that just slapping the label curse on wealth is way too simplistic. Instead, the Quranic perspective offers this profound and actually super practical distinction that just changes the whole game.
Okay, this slide right here, this is the core of it all. See, the Quran isn't against building wealth, it's against hoarding it, and there's a huge difference. Hoarding is when your only goal is just to collect more, but building, that's when your goal is to contribute. It all comes down to your intention.
So what does that higher purpose even look like? Well, the source gives us a great example in the story of a figure named Dhul Qarnayn. He used his incredible resources to expand his empire, but why? Not to hoard gold and treasure for himself, but to establish justice, to stamp out corruption, and to protect people. And this example just illustrates the point perfectly. Think about the Hajj. It's the most sacred spiritual pilgrimage. Yet the Quran explicitly says there's no harm in seeking out business opportunities while you're there. That's huge. It shows that spirituality and being productive in the world are not supposed to be two separate things.
Okay, so if wealth isn't inherently evil, but it's not exactly harmless either, how in the world are we supposed to approach it? Well, the source material gives us a really powerful analogy for this.
Yeah, I love this quote. It just frames wealth so perfectly. It's like a radioactive material. It's powerful, it's potentially really dangerous, and you have to treat it with respect and a ton of care. But that doesn't mean you just lock it in a lead box and never, ever use it.
And this next analogy takes that idea even further. Think of wealth like snake venom. Yes, it's deadly. It has the absolute potential to cause great harm. That's the poison. But if you handle it correctly, that same venom contains the very ingredients for the antidote. It has the potential for immense good.
So here's the key takeaway. The path isn't to run away from wealth. The path is to engage with it, but consciously. You have to acknowledge its danger, treat it with care, and then actively work to use it for a higher purpose, to extract that antidote for the good of humanity.
All right, let's move into our final section here and see how this all comes together. How this mindset builds into a personal framework for how we view not just our money, but our entire lives.
When it comes down to it, your approach to wealth is really a reflection of the size of your world. Are you living in a small world?
That's a world that's totally consumed by your own problems, your own petty concerns, your own desires. Or are you living in a big world, one that's fueled by a higher purpose, that lets you think about humanity's problems and search for bigger solutions? And that brings us to the final challenge from the source material. It leaves us with a question, and it's not, how much money do you have? The real question is this: what are you doing with what you have? Does your wealth shrink your world down until it's just about you? Are you using it to expand your world, to serve something so much bigger than yourself?